I'm joined by Corey Carroll and Maria Namey. Corey also works with me at Mind, and Maria is an instructional coach from Massachusetts, and she has supported an urban district with their ST Math implementation for the past several years, and she will share a little bit about how her schools have launched and built JiJi culture throughout the year. And Corey, can you go to the next page? I keep forgetting that I'm not controlling the slides. And so we are so excited to share a bit about ST Math Launch Day. And this is a new initiative. So if you haven't really heard us talk about Launch Day and you've been using ST Math for several years, like Jordan said, Jordan, you've been using for 6 years. And so we're really focused on creating this day to kick off and celebrate a love for learning math and building JiJi culture, and really strengthening ST Math implementations across the board. And we'll share a little bit about what resources we've created for you after Maria shares some more. I'm going to let Maria take over, sharing how she's launched and built a lot of really great JiJi culture in Massachusetts. And take it away, Maria.
Hey everybody, I am Maria Namey. I teach in Brockton, Massachusetts. It is a large urban district. We have about 26 schools and about 17,000 children in the district. So we do use ST Math, and it is a big program in our K-5 schools. So I just wanted to offer you guys 4 tips that really make a successful start to the school year when you're using ST Math. So whether I have building admin, or my math instructional coaches, or teachers in this call, I really think these 4 tips are going to be worthwhile to you. So first thing is you're going to be to schedule ST Math into your math block. So oftentimes I do know that we have the little sheet that tells you how many minutes everybody needs per week, right? I think it's about 90 minutes for grades 2 to 5 and 60 minutes for your K to 1. The teachers get it, the coaches pass it out, right? You encourage teachers to do it, but really if you schedule ST Math actually into that core math block with your teachers, I find that you actually are more successful with getting those minutes and putting a really big focus on ST Math. Setting up routines and expectations with ST Math is also going to be really important. I'll talk more about that. Creating that really exciting JiJi culture to get everybody engaged and motivated and realize how fun it is to solve those puzzles. And then some professional development and collaboration. Okay, so I'll do this really, really quick. So this is just a sample schedule. I am assuming that the presentation will be shared so you guys can take a closer look at this. But you'll notice that I'll have the teachers right from the start when I worked as a math coach actually plan each day when and how they were going to use ST Math. Was it going to be done whole group for a certain amount of minutes? Were they going to do a small group or centers? Oftentimes it's small groups and centers. If you're a school that does math workshop, which in Massachusetts, it's really, really big, kids don't always cycle to every center. So we'd find that certain kids would actually have gaps in the minutes, even though teachers were scheduling it in their math block each day. So we did advise that people do kind of a mixture. When we do that whole group ST Math, we always do a puzzle talk to start. Oftentimes people are a little intimidated with those puzzle talks. We keep them nice and short, but if you're familiar with a math talk, which is really common in schools when you put up like a math problem and have kids talk about it, puzzle talk's really the same thing. You're just leveraging ST Math. And then there still obviously is time for that core math program or lesson in the math block, but scheduling it in there is always important and gets those minutes. Okay, so routines. So again, I'm assuming it's probably similar in most schools, but our schools often use anchor charts. So in the beginning of the school year, we do like a first 10 days and we teach kids all the routines they might need to know when participating in their math class or math block or math workshop. And we always use anchor charts to teach the kids the expectations and routines we have for them. So right from this beginning of the school year, it's really good to tell them what you expect to see when using ST Math. So this is just an example of one of the anchor charts that we've seen in schools. So, right, what will the kids be doing? That's on the left-hand side. So they're going to get their device and their math tools. They're going to get to work right away. They're going to solve puzzles. they'll look for that 2-minute warning. And then they'll record their progress either on some sort of tracking sheet that they have, and then return their device. So again, like, what will the kids be doing? And then what will the teachers be doing? Oftentimes with these routines, we find it really beneficial to the math if you have a routine where kids are expected to somehow show their thinking. You can go to the next slide if you want, Denise. So have them show their thinking. So do you have like a ST Math journal? So we'll have ST Math journals for kids. Some teachers will do a specific think sheet that you can find right on the ST Math resource page. So there's all different sorts of things that you can do. We have a help I'm stuck. So oftentimes kids get stuck on those hurdles, and what types of things can they do when they get stuck so that they don't get disengaged with the program? Are they using math tools? Here's a list right on the left-hand side of all the different math tools that the teacher has probably modeled and reviewed with kids where to find them when they're doing ST Math. Do they use that pause button? So there's a feature where they can rewind and fast forward. Are they double clicking the screen? Another feature that's great that's built right into ST Math. You can double click and it kind of like blinks different things to give you a hint about what to do. It's a good access point for kids. Do you have a routine where they can find a partner? And then if they do find a partner to help them, what does that look like? Right? Are they asking questions? They're not touching the screen. So really we model this with the students at the start of the year, because oftentimes when you put kids in front of a device, they think that the device will just do everything for them. Like all of a sudden when we do math, we show our thinking and make it visible and we use our tools. But when we get to the computer, we don't all of a sudden. So really teaching and showing kids how to do that is super important. And then these will hang all year for the kids as visuals. All right, the next really big important thing that we do with students is we create this JiJi culture by celebration. So celebrations really drive student success. It motivates and inspires them, increases engagement, and is really, really fun. So starting this right in the beginning of the school year really helps keep that momentum throughout the year about how great ST Math is, and they continue to try to get those puzzles and minutes throughout the year. So that having a strong start is super important. These celebrations can be simple. If you're a coach, you can help the teachers set either short or long-term goals for either the whole school, a grade level, or a specific class. And oftentimes we do this with really easy low-level things like bulletin boards. Yep, you can go to the next slide, it's okay. So I know I only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to be really brief. We'll have questions at the end if I'm talking too fast. I just wanted to make sure you guys can see all these great visuals. So here's a classroom bulletin board that we had outside of a classroom, and it monitored both the objective progress and syllabus progress for students. So you'll see a little JiJi there kind of marching on their way. It's a great visual for the kiddos. They loved as a class being able to move to the different percentages. We also have golden JiJis. This is a coach in our district named Allison Hamlin. She does a fabulous job. But these golden JiJis, she just made cutouts herself and spray painted them in her garage. And it was awarded to each classroom at a specific grade level for the most puzzles that week or the most minutes. So again, the kids loved getting this golden JiJi. She'd go into the room, she'd make it a big deal, she'd hype it up. They love it. And then the JiJi would sit in the classroom the whole week, and then she'd take them back and pass them out again at the next week. And you could change up the goals, right? So like this could vary from week to week. It could be most improved. It could be most like increase of minutes from one week to the next. If you have a class that's behind, you can really make it accessible to everybody. Again, just some shout outs. So these were just fun, exciting things that were posted in the school for all to see, maybe in the cafeteria or a place that all the kids would pass by and get to see. But here's like math shout outs. I really loved this one. This is Vicky Hafez that is at the Hancock School in Brockton. I loved the little turntables of JiJi. The kids thought that was really cool. It was big and vibrant. And she actually has class names on the left-hand side. So she'd move those class names up as different classes reached a different progress. And then on the right-hand side, it's like individual shout outs. So she'd pull those down and put them back up depending on what kid had shown some sort of growth, whatever the goal was that she had set. On the bottom left-hand or right-hand corner, you'll see another one. That's another shout out. And this one was actually more individualized. So she had some really cool things on it, like who got the most minutes in a classroom, who had the most puzzles, She had what they called like an ST mathematician of the week, and they'd get their picture taken. Best effort. So again, like those kids that are always high achievers, always end up with their names on the board. How do you include and get everybody excited? So try to pick different things that kids can all achieve. So best effort, right? Maybe they try really hard, beat a hurdle that day, but maybe don't have the most puzzles or minutes. And then she had like a gotcha, which is really a caught you doing something great. So maybe it related to some of the routines that were in class. Maybe they got their tools out. Maybe they were focused and on time. Maybe they were helping a friend by asking questions or going over the learning cycle, different things like that. Again, another really cool one. They just had the grade levels with the cool JiJi. This school actually had like a 3-foot standee of JiJi. So you can kind of tell there's like a picture of a penguin next to those kiddos. So like the kids love, they get a little award certificate that they could take home or keep in their classroom. And then the coach would take a picture of the kids with JiJi, and they'd all love it. She'd post the pictures. And again, she could take them down each week, depending on what the goal was. The goal could either remain the same or change. All depends on what you want to do with your school, but just build some hype so kids get excited and want to continue to work on ST math, to connect that math to the core curriculum, to earn those puzzles, to problem solve, and to just stay engaged. Another similar one, this is actually a picture of a board that we had in September. Most of those other ones were at the end of the year, like, so they look a little more developed, but this was right in the beginning of September. And on that little orange sheet, it just says who completed the most puzzles in your class for the month of September. So it was each grade level, each class, one kid got their picture taken. And then every month she would change this out. And you'll notice right in the center, she had just to monitor the progress of the kids with their puzzles in ST math, which made it fun and exciting, and they could see their growth throughout the year. Brockton likes to be very competitive, so we would do challenges throughout the year. You could even do this if you have a small district, just within your school or in with your grade level, but challenges often would engage kids and get them motivated, and teachers. So we would do a district-wide challenge, and we had one winner per grade level, and it was basically related to the largest amount of growth. So it didn't matter where everyone was to start. We looked at growth, and we actually used the velocity indicator to measure the growth over a 4-week period. So you can tell at the bottom, we were just tracking the data each week, so all the coaches and teachers could kind of see where they were. And the prize was an ice cream truck. So we rented an ice cream truck for a day, and I went around to all the different schools that had winners at each grade level. You can see all the kids there, and we have a JiJi costume that we often use for celebrations. We just have one in the district and we share it. So someone will dress up as JiJi and the kids love it. We'd have teachers that would even do like little videos of JiJi. We had like a stuffed animal JiJi that you could buy on the JiJi store, and they'd go in and do like little movies or like bring the little JiJi stuffed animal into a class and be like, oh, JiJi's telling me that you guys aren't doing enough minutes. Like, what's going on in here? You need more minutes for JiJi and you need more puzzles. And it's shocking that kids will immediately buy into it, even 5th graders, and believe you that JiJi is telling you this, when really we were just looking at the data and then going in. So do fun and exciting things like that. If you're not someone who's like super artsy, which I am not, my bulletin boards were never super cute like all the ones you just saw. I would create things like this, just like email celebrations. You can put GIFs on PowerPoints nowadays, and different animations are all built right into whether it's Google Slides or PowerPoint on Microsoft. So this is just a picture of the golden JiJi with some fun animation in the background. So whatever the goal is, you could put it right into there. You could change it each week, and this would just be like an email blast to teachers. And the kids loved getting this. Teachers could highlight it and show it to the classroom. Again, just to create that excitement about JiJi and build that culture. Okay, so now that you guys have seen all the visuals, I just want to give you like a little list or takeaway of things that you could do. So when you're doing whole group goal setting and celebrations, just some ideas that we've done in Brockton that have been successful is right in the beginning of the year, we always like to do 100% of students signed into ST Math. So there is a data tracking on ST Math's page on their dashboard where you can actually see how many kids have signed into ST Math. So in the beginning of the year, it was like, who can get the kids all of their kids signed in first, right? Like, so rewarding each classroom once they got 100% was always huge, because at least, they're using the program and all the kids are on. How many puzzles are collected for a class, a school or a grade level, your class average for minutes for a week, or the objective and syllabus progress could be whole group goal ideas. And then rewards can be simple, right? Keep it simple. Don't create things where you always have to be buying things for kids. So extra recess could be a reward. We would give out passes like first class in the lunch line, so they could cut the whole class could cut the line and be first in line. We pass out those golden JiJis, pictures on bulletin boards. I wrote JiJi stamps, but really we would buy the stickers and we just wouldn't peel them. So we could just put it on the desk of a kid. Shout outs during your morning announcements or afternoon announcements, shout outs via email like you saw, or even classroom visits from JiJi, whether it be you guys buy a JiJi costume or if you get the little stuffed animal and that can come and visit the kids. So a similar idea, this usually the individual goal setting and celebration can be done with classroom teachers for their individual students. So the classroom teacher could create a daily or weekly goal with kids. You could also have kids choose their own goal and you could help them do it. And it could be based on their needs, right? Like after a few weeks, you kind of get an idea of where the kids are at in their math practice and what they're capable of. And then again, you can try to keep encouraging and motivating kids to try to excel and reach the next level by helping them set realistic goals that they're going to be able to reach. That way they get motivated and excited. Goal ideas for classroom. You could see it was posted up there. It's just like, use your math tools, help a classmate, work through a hurdle, increase your minutes. So again, it's just progress here. Make your visible thinking, again, using some sort of either your journal or maybe one of the think sheets, and collect X number of puzzles per maybe day or for the whole week. So we would model for students how to keep track of those things. And even when they're on their ST Math page, how to check it on with their toolbar that's built right into ST Math, right? How we want kids to know what they're doing and how to monitor their own growth and their own progress. So again, some individual rewards that are just easy peasy. So on the left-hand side, you'll notice all these little JiJis, we call them JiJi collectibles. Kids love all these JiJis that look different, and we could just cut them out on paper and put them on a desk. Kids could keep them, or you could laminate them, put them in their folders, hang them up on a bulletin board. You'll notice right in the middle, they have JiJi. This is like the JiJi sticker. So we wouldn't peel the stickers. We would just place them on a desk, and it was to let the kid know, like, hey, I caught you doing something really good or meeting one of our classroom goals. They could keep that sticker all day, all week. We wouldn't peel it, and then you could just take it back. Also, some other little like progress monitors, like you could have the kids' names and then they earn the 10%, the 20%, the 30%, all the way until they get to 100% at the end of the year. So even though celebration, all that is great, I think for teachers to feel comfortable to be able to do all these things and model it with kids, you really do need to do some professional development with teachers. I know every school kind of has, in Massachusetts, we're really fortunate. We have a grant program and we get these trainings from ST Math, and also the 8-1 Foundation is fabulous. It's a great partnership with ST Math in Massachusetts, and they put on a lot of professional development run by educators in Massachusetts once a month. I understand that's not the case for every state. So I would suggest, if you do have the subscription to the ST Math Academy page, to definitely use that. They have some online trainings there. If your coach is experienced with ST Math, you can create your own presentations to kind of give teachers an overview and refresher each year so they feel comfortable. I did link the Brockton presentations we usually do in September ourselves in-house here. If people want to use them or revise them or edit them, it's linked, so you have to download a copy, so no worry there. If you have time with teachers like PLCs or teaching teams, we would definitely, at the beginning of the year, make them carve out time to work together to come up with some ST Math routines as a grade level. Or if it's only one teacher per grade level, maybe do a grade span. And then peer observation to share best practices. So if you do have someone that's doing something great with ST Math, schedule time for other teachers to go in and observe that block when they're doing ST Math. That way you can share those best practices. So Denise, I don't know if we're okay with time.
Perfect. Thank you. I think that's a really good overview of some of the things, and one of the reasons that we really wanted Maria to come and share is they've been doing launch days in Massachusetts with what she mentioned, the 1A program for multiple years now, and so they've been doing these launch ideas and celebrations and motivations for quite some time. And so some of you may be looking and thinking, oh my goodness, this is a lot of stuff, and how am I expected to do this in my classroom or at my school, and with such turnaround. And so as we've come to do this, we've realized the importance of having a strong start to your ST Math year. And so we have actually created resources for you to help you have your own ST Math launch day. So we're actually going to go to that site, and I'm going to share some of these resources with you. There's lots of them, but I do want to highlight a few of them. So we're actually going to go to the ST Math help page, which is linked in the chat if you need to get there. And then there's the ST Math Launch Day Toolkit. And so this is a toolkit set apart to help you and either your school or classroom. It's built to where you can make this as big or as small as you want it to be. So I'm going to go live into the launch day. So here is the toolkit, and kind of as you're scrolling through this, you're going to notice a lot of different things. We've kind of got it separated into a few different sections. We've got your prepare to launch, which is the things that you could do a couple of weeks out. Then as it gets closer and you're within 24 hours, we've got things that you need to do the day before to make sure you're set. And then obviously the day of the launch, some of the things that you can do. And so these are a lot of similar resources that you just saw Maria go through, things that we've seen schools do that have been effective, and things that we know that will create a strong culture and environment that if you can get your students started with ST Math on the right foot from day one, that the likelihood of them continuing a strong usage of ST Math is going to continue through, and then they'll be able to grow and learn. And we know that the more minutes that students are in ST Math, the more growth that they're going to see. And so it's all about your students and helping them grow from where they're at. And so we know that having a strong start is going to help them do that. And so we don't have time to go through all of these resources. It's kind of built for you to pick out what you've already got going and then what you can add to it. But what we do encourage is that you dedicate one day set aside for kicking off ST Math. Now you decide on Friday, I am going to kick off ST Math. I'm going to make sure that every student is on ST Math. I'm going to make sure that we do our minutes in ST Math, and that I'm going to have some fun activities built around it that are going to really celebrate and kick off the culture right. And we've got posters for you to prepare for that. We've even got videos you could show the kids about JiJi's coming, get excited, and then have that day that you kick off ST Math and make it. And one of the keys to that is if you are going to do a day where you kick off ST Math, is I think it's really important to set goals of what you want to accomplish in that day. Maria talked a lot about goals and accomplishments and ways that they tracked them and all of these things. And you'll notice about halfway down on the 2 weeks prepare, we have a lot of resources to help you with all of that tracking so that you don't have to come up with it all on your own. So we have a goals sheet right here. And so if you want to set a goal for your classroom or your school, you could take the number of students you've got and say, okay, as a class, we are going to hit, 1,800 minutes or whatever it might be. And you're going to keep track of that throughout the day. And so maybe you have a couple of times, 2 or 3 times you get onto ST Math throughout the day to try and get it, and you can track it throughout the day and have a thing. And then when they reach their goal, you have some sort of celebration built in. You could set puzzle goals with your kids. We want to hit 1,200 puzzles or whatever the number might be. And we've got some different metrics here to help you. We've even got stretch metrics. If you feel like my students are definitely going to be able to hit this goal, they're going to want to go further, you can do the stretch ones. And then obviously we have our recommended ones down here. And with all of these, we have some great trackers as well. I think it's really important for not only you to track things as a class, I think it's really good for students to track their own ST Math. And this is a great culture setter for you from day one. If you kind of build this excitement and have them track their usage, how many minutes were you on? If you do 2 or 3 sessions in that kickoff day, then you could have them track how long they were on each day. and they can keep, and then you can add the whole total as a class and see if you hit your goal by the end of the day. And so this will kind of also set the kicker that I do think it's important for the rest of the year for all students to be doing this. Again, kind of that's why the kickoff is so wonderful. It makes it exciting and fun, but these are also things that you can then stretch. So let's say you do hit your goal for one day, then you can say, wow, that is so amazing. Let's see if we can take this goal and do it for a whole week or a whole month. And you could set goals for your class or your school to fill out for even a wider round than just one day. And so I think those are really important things to kick off. There's a lot of other things. Denise is going to show you some of her other favorite things that she likes about it. But again, I think that one of the biggest things that I want to emphasize again is really picking a day and making that day your day. And then whatever you want to do with it, you can decide how big or how little you want to make it, but really making that day dedicated to making sure that STMath starts right for your students and for your school.
Awesome. Corey, should I start sharing my screen or just tell you where to click?
You can just tell me which one to click on.
Okay. Awesome. So all of this is so exciting. I love setting goals for that first day, and then long-term goals, as Maria shared, having goals throughout the year, really keep that momentum going. But to get that momentum started before you even start using STMath, we have created some social media images you can use to launch. So there's both GIFs and just still images. So you can just share these with your like on your school Facebook page or Twitter page, whatever you have, or even just use one of these to send home in a family email. Additionally, there is a little video, which is pretty much the same as this GIF with some music in the background that you can share at an assembly to get people really excited, or students really excited, and teachers really excited. And then the one other thing beforehand is these JiJi is ready for blast off posters. You can print them out and post them around your school. You can use the JiJi launch day invitation and family letter so that kids and families all know about the amazing learning that's going to happen with STMath. And this is a fillable PDF, so you can type right on there like your school name and the date that your school is going to launch, so that everyone knows as they're walking into the building, or so parents will know if they go to drop off their kids will know, and it just gets all of the students excited before. And then by using all of those different goal setting tools, you'll keep that momentum going, and kids are going to learn so much with STMath throughout the year. Oh, and one other thing, if you notice, if you do go to that launch day toolkit, there is a JiJi store discount code that you can use to buy some swag for your launch day. And so that's always exciting as well.
And also, we are doing a social media challenge that if you do post them, that you could win a surprise. So certainly worth taking the time to go ahead and post it, because it could be a very special surprise coming your way.
Yeah, so as you are launching and celebrating, take pictures or just post on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and make sure you tag STMath to earn that prize.
That's great. So that is, we'll let you kind of peruse that as you're looking through that and deciding what, but you may be thinking, oh my goodness, I just saw so many amazing resources and I have all of this stuff. This is going to be amazing, but what do I do now? So I think the first thing, depending on your role, if you're a teacher, I think I would go to my administrators and decide, do we want to make this something bigger? Do we want to do this as a school-wide day? Or is this something that, I'm just going to do in my classroom? I think the bigger you can make it, the more exciting it's going to be. So if you could get your grade level team on board with a day, or if you can get your school on board with a day, you could really make this a lot of fun. And a lot of you have education success managers that work closely with your schools and districts. And if you have an education success manager and you're interested in hosting one of these days, then you want to reach out to your education or your customer success manager, and they could give you ideas, and they could also look at different things that you might have the possibility to do as well above and beyond this. If you can get your school on board, there are additional resources. I think you saw with Maria, she had that cutout of JiJi that they had at one of their campuses. We have things like that we could potentially do with some of your schools and districts if you're able to get some more buy-in on a higher level. So I think the first thing to do now is to see how big you can make this. Are you going to do it just as your school, or are you going to expand it? But that, again, it's built to where it can be done at all sorts of levels. But obviously, we want to make it as exciting as possible and as big as possible. So I would instantly go to my colleagues, and then if you need to, you can reach out to your education or customer success manager. And if you are not 100% sure who that person is, you will have me and Denise's contact information at the end of this. You can reach out to either one of us, and we can direct you with who your success manager is and how they can help you have a fun and exciting launch day. So on that, here are our emails. That is what we want to present. We really appreciate all of you attending our session today, and we really hope that this will help you and have a strong start to your school year this year, which we know is going to impact students, which is what we're all here for.
Thank you